spitting nothing but facts. Fans screaming, I'm back. Legendary, I'm that. Cooking up a new batch.
They drive me to drink.
We got Dan out of jail and he vomited all over my flannel. Anyway, back into Clone High, where it's the night of the party. Everyone is going a little bit stir crazy, and there's only one missing ingredient to make this whole thing.
Hey everybody, it's me, Abe!
Hi Abe. There's nothing really of note here.
Hey everybody, it's a keg of beer!
God damn it! So yeah, he technically gets people beer. Technically being the key word. Why?
Not exactly. I could only get non-alcoholic beer.
Non-alcoholic because sure. So that's going down low. The teen crisis hotline still apparently being a thing. We have A, Gandhi being a dick.
The only way I can cling to my sanity is that nobody knows how lonely I truly am. He's sad.
Because sure. And Joan just being there because she wants Abe's dick.
Oh, here go hell come.
That's like the most subtle way I can put it. That's all she fucking wants. But was there like a B plot here, or...
What's up, fellow students? Raise the roof! Raise it!
Go home. You are drunk. Don't ever come back. I mean, seriously, whose man's is this? But yeah, while Scudworth is there just making an ass out of himself, and while the kids are making asses out of themselves while being nude, what about the unfortunate nature that is Abe trying to get into the STD-riddled pants of one Cleopatra?
You know, Abe, maybe it's for beer talking.
I doubt it.
Oh, Abe, it's like there's a tin can phone from your brain to my heart.
Is it too late to mention that there's a cute scene of Joan with Vice Principal Butlertron, aka Mr. B? Because I feel like it's too late to mention that scene right now.
That no good cheating tramp! Hey, get off my dinghy! Not you.
Okay, that joke was funny, JFK. In any case, though, with Cleo now torn apart over which person to choose over, because sure, we then have to have the Teen Crisis Hotline not only give us a moment with Vincent Van Gogh. Why does that name sound so familiar? And then, of course, with everything else going around of prank after prank, it's up to Joan to make the responsible decision. Now, Joan has an opportunity here to either A, really help out by showing that Cleo should be with the nice guy, not the r/nice guy that's all over the internet. Like someone that really deserves her for herself, as someone that's just trying to be the exact best for this utter tramp. No, I'm just fucking with you. She decides at first to just have her get with JFK. Only to then turn around and do the friend thing.
You know what? Go with the nicer guy.
'Cause why not make this cliche? Anyway, after giving some revenge plotline that's gonna come up later, but for some odd reason, it's not like someone needs their comeuppance or something, we then have to have this unnecessary scene of Cleo choosing Abe in front of JFK, then JFK hitting on Joan. But I feel like this teen party is missing something.
Well, if it isn't my old friend, underage drinking.
Yep, just like in anything involving a teen party, we got ourselves the local police. As well as probably one of the most interesting things I have ever witnessed from a police officer. But you have to watch the episode to find out what I mean. In any event, though, he's arresting Gandhi because Gandhi is spastic, and Joan because she just happens to be holding a red cup. It sounds like a John Mulaney joke right there. Believe me, I've thought this whole thing through. And he's about to just cart them away, and Abe is about to go down the River Nile.
I understood that reference.
Only to then do the typical thing of a protagonist of, I'm confessing my crimes.
It's non-alcoholic beer.
It goes as well as you'd expect. Yeah, you guys thought it was that sappy shit? Well, you thought wrong. I love quoting myself from previous episodes. So, yeah, Abe is now a laughingstock because he brought non-alcoholic beer to a party, which is a total dick move, by the way, asswipe. But it's swiftly forgotten because Gandhi's own comeuppance comes up because this is what happens when you don't help the teen crisis hotline. Either that or some girl named Hannah Baker kills herself and releases 13 tapes or some stupid shit. But the episode actually ends with Cleopatra handing off a note to Abe that signifies her undying need to fiddle around and say that she has 2 boyfriends that she desperately does not need. And that is, in essence, Clone High's pilot. My ultimate thoughts is that the pilot isn't necessarily that bad. What? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not the most golden thing in the world. God knows I've seen a lot more developed pilots. But it does establish the rules that we typically know from a high school show, but also subverts it with its own dark humor, as well as doing something of subverting natural tropes. The best friend characters just pining over each other after many seasons of establishing things, just toss out the window to just say that this is a real life thing. The slutty character is introduced to just be that typical foil that you'll see for a couple episodes before just kind of showing their true enough colors that you don't typically see in other shows. And even the comic relief does end up suffering a lot more than they typically do in other shows of, I would think, Skeeter from Doug, or any person that tried to be the second fiddle to Doug Walker. In any event, though, it does still suffer from certain problems. The animation could be a little bit better for how the character designs were. How they did certain jokes kind of didn't fit in, like this one joke I didn't mention about George Washington Carver making a living peanut, because that's just so fucking weird. And just making certain characters just so unappealing for the sake of either A, making fun of mental capacity, or B, how they were described in life, just does not really mesh well when you're trying to do stuff that's somewhat sensitive to certain legacies. Then again, there is the elephant in the room as to why this show was canceled in the first place, involving Gandhi being a character that was mocking the heritage of the Indian people. So it kind of stands to purpose that Clone High pushed the envelope a lot without really trying. And you know what? I feel like that actually did work in its favor. Sure, the animation quality for myself wasn't up to snuff, but then again, I'm kind of an art snob for certain people. Sure, certain jokes did not land. Maybe it's just the typical thing of humor is subjective. Sure, certain things of subversion really did not help its case. That's to be expected from people that are just trying to get certain story elements that they themselves believe was the common trope. That's to be expected from people that just thought that they were entitled to something that totally isn't within their realms of ownership. But even still, comparing it to a lot of other things that we will get into over the course of this series, and even a few things I have gone into, it truly does try to stick to what its methods and message are at the end of the day. And I honestly do applaud them for just going to this exact mile. So, grading time. For just the pilot alone for Clone High, I would ultimately give this I want to say a 7.6 out of 13, with a C+, and awarding it at least 3.5 out of 7 stars. I know I'm being a little bit critical, but honestly, from what you see in later episodes, this really does show that I have my bigger standards for this show. It did not reach its own peak, The writing was not up to snuff. And believe you me, if we ever get back to Clone High, you'll understand why I'm being this down on it. But that stands the question, what is the next review, you're probably wondering? Well, I heard it's a little shocking.
You don't fuck with the pyramid and
Our city of gods, look where we are, baby. You never did this before, you with the stars, baby. You know we itching for war, looking for y'all, baby. Cause I'm in elite mode, really, oh. City of gods, look where we are, baby. You never did this before, you with the stars, baby. You know we itching for war, looking for y'all, baby. Cause I'm in elite mode, really, though.
I am talking backwards and telling you to watch Clone High, and for us to get an Emmy, I'm saying that backwards, because it's sneaky.